I don't know.
Now you do.
Now we do.
Don't look at me when I'm talking to you just because I didn't push the right button.
You can't read lips. It's not our fault.
77 and 98, the weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Dillon Feed. And tonight, 5 after 5, get to Thrive Fuel, corner of Airline and John Stockbauer, as we will have a little get-together to celebrate 5 years of Thrive Fuel. That one was totally on me. I love you. Look, this is the way you got to roll. Character is what you do when nobody's looking or when they can't see. And you can't see what's going on down here below. See, up here, you can see. Down here, you can't see. Ash typically is the one that screws this up because he's got 90% of the responsibility, and I only have 10. My 10 is pretty much an afterthought. I forgot to push the button. So now we're good. But it's kind of like a mime show.
Might have been a better show.
It could have been better.
Who knows?
Could have been better. Peter McNally would say, great show today. Couldn't hear a word. Y'all were awesome.
Scott Tomko says we aren't pretty enough. We need sound. Yeah.
Maybe I should just unbutton one button.
No,
just
please
one.
don't.
Okay. Okay.
Matt Boucher is in. Chesley Gobar, good morning. Andy Rokovich checking in. Rena Scherer, Jordan Glass, Patricia Nagel, good morning. Scott Tomko, Junior Samples. We're big in Neosho, Missouri.
There you go. Andy said Bill's handoff was perfect. We just dropped the ball.
Yeah, we did. Lisa Poole, Jordan Glass, Torrin Bales, Bobby Leister, Judge Posey, good morning. Scott Snow, Kendra Douglas.
Wow, what a group. Look at Roy
Justin
Gutierrez.
Glass, Roy Gutierrez.
The little brown taco says audio.
Ricky King, we're big in H-Town this morning. Good morning, everybody. Glad you're all joining us.
Audio is Guatemalan for would you like another margarita?
Daniel Wade White, J. Mark Jameson. Morning, everybody.
Good group of folks right there. J. Mark Jameson. Good. Daniel Wade White reminds me to tell you about Patriot Palooza.
Coming up November 10th at UHV.
It's in November. Now, we're not going to tell you every day between now and November, but we will tell you that there are sponsor tables available. All the way from $250 all the way to $5,000. Do you want 8 tickets? Do you want 2 tickets? Do you want 4 or 6 in between? Give them a call. Call Kelsey Norgard. I said that like I don't know her.
I know.
Kelsey Norgard at 570-4869.
Said that like you don't know how to read is
what?
More accurate.
I am a product of VISD.
Stephanie Conti, good morning. Diane Tippett.
At the time, thought I was smart.
Yeah.
You know,
could you get into UT today? Would you want to get into UT today?
No, I'm not sure I would. I think if I was going to go to college today, if I was going to go to college today,
for Washington State.
Look, if I was going to go to college today, there's a part of me that might want to go to Texas A&M. I just couldn't deal with all that garbage they do. I'm just not, dude. I'm just not a sheep.
It does look pretty good, though, when you watch a game and they're all
it looks great
side by side.
Down 27-4.
I don't know, something about maroon and khaki. You just get tired of it.
Yeah, and neck zits. Polyester.
Marvin Mickish, good morning. Tammy Keeling. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the Astros update brought to you by the First State Bank? Go see Lolly. She'll greet you with a smile.
Houston Astros dominate last night like
did.
Few teams really do. Over the weekend, you heard the announcers talk about the plausibility of an offensive outburst that could just be sustainable, And last night, for example, Yordan Alvarez reaches base all 6 times while going 4 for 4 with 2 walks.
18 hits yesterday.
He also had 4 RBIs. And Jeremy Pena has a 4-hit night, and Jose Altuve hits a home run out of Fenway Park.
Over the Green Monster.
And out of the park to hit for the cycle. Had a homer, single, double, triple,
home run.
Single. He had them all.
What was the order? Did he single first or was it a double first?
I don't know. I think he doubled first, tripled, had a single, but the home run was just a no-doubter. And the team was actually more excited for him than he was. The dude's had over 2,000 hits. He's had 37 4-hit nights and has never had a 5-hit night or hit for the cycle. It lets you know the rarity of both.
He's the Astros all-time leader in 4-hit games.
Oh, like way ahead. Like Biggio's second at like 26.
And then I think Bagwell and then Cesar Cedeno. So you got to go back a long ways.
60s and 70s.
To players getting 4 hits in a game multiple times. But yeah, he was hitting it. Pena was hitting it.
Yeah. Awesome. Astros win 13-5. And it really wasn't that close. It was 13-1, I think, for a while. The Astros just kind of Dawn was not thrilled. Christian Javier was on the bump. I don't know if he got the win or not. Did Javier get the win?
No, Urquidy got the win. No, Urquidy got the save. Graveman got the win.
No.
Yeah.
Graveman can't get the win. Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, he did. Graveman moves to 4-6. He only pitched 1 inning. That must be the – how did he do that?
Because we were down 4-3 when
That's
he came
right.
in.
Solid point.
And then managed to pitch the bottom half of the 6th, I'm guessing, when we scored 6 runs.
Urquidy pitched really well, too, by the way. Gave up a couple of hits late, but meaningless. The scary thing is, if you go to the standings for us real quick, well, I tell you, First State Bank of Louise, friendliest bank anywhere. You need to open an account. It's free. You want the gift? Free. Backpack, still available. New gift coming. Buy land, 15% down, 30 years to pay. Good stuff.
Henry Nally, I can agree with that. Altuve for MVP.
Pretty solid. He's hitting, his
322, I think, right now.
Can you get to the standings?
Oh yeah, I can get there.
I wasn't prodding you. We're a team, okay, and that involves me being patient.
Had you asked me to get to the standings?
Yeah, it said we'll go to the standings. Sorry. So we're still 1 game back.
Rangers won last night.
See, the Mariners, I guess, were off. They're 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah.
I mean, so look, that's not sustainable unless they play Oakland every night. We're still 1 game back. The Rangers won. This is the time when
Seattle beat Oakland 7-0.
So you're looking. So they all 3 win. So we remain 1 game back. This is once in a lifetime. If this lasts all the way down to the stretch, this is the greatest stretch of baseball in Astros history. Whether they're going to make the playoffs if this lasts till the end. So don't worry about the playoffs. It's all about seeding. It's all about where you are. Do you win the division? Does that matter? You want to get into postseason play.
Yeah.
But the Astros being in the thick of it, Alex Bregman the other day said every game is a must-win game in our minds. I love that. We got 29 games left in the season. It's great baseball. This would be like if the Cowboys
I want them to win the division, and here's why.
I do too.
You don't want to get into those 1-game playoffs when anything can happen, right? Then you burn Verlander.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'll put JV out there. We'll see what happens.
Then you don't have them for the next series.
Verlander gets touched up, so you bring in Fromber in the 3rd. Then you bring in Hunter Brown in the 5th.
Having to do all of that.
Everybody's throwing 98.
Then you win it in 12, 10-9.
What's our buddy H.R. Mallory asking us to do?
HR says, tune into the Department of Public Safety South Texas Region Facebook today around 10. Get an update on DPS operations at the Harbor Bridge in Corpus Christi. There's my beautiful wife, Cheryl, checking in. Graydon checking in as well. Good morning, Graydon. Good morning, Cheryl. Laura Jecker, Stuart Martin.
How hard can the DPS job be at the Harbor Bridge in Corpus Christi? Here they are, folks. Go that way. Bridge is closed. Go that way, folks.
Junior says, can we at least fish from it since we can't drive on it?
Bridge is closed. Bridge is closed. World's most expensive
fishing pier.
Bridge is closed.
Is it Rockport charges you to go on the fishing pier or one of those? Start charging people $10 to fish from it. You'll make your billions back in no time.
We'll probably fix it.
Because somebody's going to want to go to the very top of that, drop a line in, and see if they can reel that big blue marlin all the way up to the top of the bridge.
Or jump. There's always those crazy. And by the way, not to make light of anything, but there's always that person who goes, I sure would like to jump from there. Another tragedy, shooting in Jacksonville yesterday, shooting at a college in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Yeah, the Jacksonville shooting, I think it was Saturday at like a Dollar General. Guy walked in, idiot, white, racist, trashy, absolute hate-filled idiot.
Right. They call it mental health. We call it idiot.
His parents called the cops. And here's, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do these days. Apparently, he was on his way to the Dollar General, went to Edward Waters University, but nobody was around. They asked him to leave the campus when they saw him. He left, apparently geared up there because there's video surveillance of this, and then drove over to the Dollar General, shot 3 people, killed himself. Good. Good riddance on you, you jackass.
Yeah.
But his parents called the police because he apparently had called his mom or dad and told them to look on his computer, and they found his hate-filled manifesto and all the posts and stuff that he had made.
It's all racist-driven drivel.
Yeah.
So here's what I have to wonder. I do wonder.
Which I'll never understand. I don't understand how you could hate somebody just because of the color of their skin. I mean, hate them on the character or lack thereof, right? But just because they look different than you, you're going to hate on them?
Enough
makes no
to
sense.
Kill them.
Complete strangers that you've never met before.
The thing that gets me is the direct. It's kind of like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, because here's what happens. He's a white guy with a gun and he killed some people. We need to pick up all the guns. We need to have stricter laws on AR-15s, and somehow this is related to being a MAGA Republican. And by the way, if "Make America Great Again" is a derogatory phrase, sign me up, because America is not great right now. It is not great under Joe Biden. Mortgage rates, 22-year high. Inflation, overinflation.
40-year high.
They're bragging about employment at the same time that they talk about a resurgence of COVID.
Well, it's to soften the blow.
Coming.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But then yesterday in North Carolina, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, go Tar Heels, professor was killed. And as somebody who works in higher ed, it kind of puts you a little bit on edge, maybe? A little unease.
That guy probably didn't deserve it.
Or girl, we don't know.
If we could get a little curling around here, you might have a stay of execution.
I think Scott Tomko sent me a video yesterday as to why we can't do curling yet. The stones are so expensive because they're running out of the rocks for them. But anyway, no word on the faculty member's name has not been released, which I get.
No news about the shooter?
Wanted to wait till next of kin is notified. Tell them, I'm guessing maybe a foreign professor, if they're having that much trouble reaching the family, right? And no word on who the killer is, which I'm guessing...
Not a white guy.
Probably, and the fact that it wasn't a mass shooting seems targeted, probably
domestic,
some sort of dispute, and certainly they knew each other. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, and here's what you always find.
But
when they don't tell you, it's not a white guy.
Lately, that has been the case. Go back.
If it's a white guy with a gun, they're going to tell you.
Because it drives the media and the left's narrative.
A crazy
white guy, racist
white
with
guy.
guns, is who we're trying to get rid of in this society.
He looked a lot like, what's the guy's name? Homer Simpson.
There's Dottie Bitterling checking in.
You'll find that. Make a note. You will find that. If it's black on black shooting,
they just ignore it.
Yeah, they just ignore it. If it's black on white shooting, that's never racist. It's always that the black person has just had it.
Peter Rinaldi says it was an Asian student that killed the professor. That destroys every narrative that this country's ever had.
Yeah.
But it does lean with our observation that
if it's not a white
guy, they don't announce it right away.
The race.
No.
If it's a white guy, he's a MAGA. He was always racist. Quiet boy, trying to get his life right.
But I tragedy. I don't know why or how you get to that point where that's how you solve your problems.
No.
Now this kid's been arrested. What problems did you solve? You're going to the hoosegow, dude. If not the electric chair or the gas chamber.
Ash doesn't know we don't use gas chambers anymore, but just go with him. He's rolling.
It's theater for the mind.
Right.
They're going
to pull your fingernails off with
They don't use the electric chair
Needle
anymore,
nose
except
pliers.
in Utah, maybe, right?
Imagine that guy smoking in the electric chair with that.
HR says they showed a picture of a person of interest but did not confirm that was the murderer. I got a problem with that in a way. Person of interest.
It's always like Donald Trump. It's this mugshot.
Yeah.
They put up Donald Trump's mugshot. We're looking for this man.
How often is the person of interest not the suspect?
Yeah. Well, they
Right?
don't. Nobody wants to. Yeah. Like they detain a guy walking down the hallway with a gun, but they don't say that he's the shooter. He's being detained as a person of interest.
We can't say he's a shooter.
No.
Haven't pulled the trigger yet.
There you go. You pull the trigger when you need him. Call Alan's Record Service, 578-6300. Give Alan a call. Let him help you. You need communication, any kind of communication, iPhone 15 all the way down to just a simple ranch radio. Daddy to base.
VCS
We need
companies,
some bread. We need a loaf of bread, Daddy.
the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer.
There you go. It's pretty simple.
And a jug of milk,
Right.
quart of milk, stick of butter, loaf
See
of
you in
bread.
finance. Chesnick Furniture for over 100 years. Chesnick Furniture Company showing you just always do better at Chesnick.
Always do better, Chesnick.
Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Get by today. Best recliners, Tempur-Pedic bedding, all types
Whirlpool, Maytag,
They've got
American
it all.
made.
of powerful stuff. Veracruz, the best Mexican food in town. Today's Tuesday, pre-call to Wednesday.
It is pre-called on
Get
Wednesday.
in
Get
there.
in there today. And then don't forget to join us tonight, Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends, 7:30.
Fantastic. Have a flour tortilla for me at Veracruz.
Bring them one.
Dawn,
wrap it in
Dawn won't
foil?
let me. Oh, yeah. I'd eat
It'll
it cold.
stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you really want to, you butter the one side, you sprinkle it with cinnamon and sugar,
Oh, my goodness.
roll it up, put it in the foil, bring it to Brent tonight.
Yep. Fantastic. And then Adson since 1926, Victoria's dealer, Adson and AdsonOffer.com, inviting you to come in and look at all the new Chevys, Mazdas, Mitsubishis. I'm not saying I've never been in the market for a Mazda, but this Mazda SUV is
CX-90?
It's a good-looking vehicle.
And they're comparing the luxury in this thing to a Lexus.
I'm telling you, they're trying to step
Acura.
up their
Yeah.
game. That's
It
awesome.
may not quite be Mercedes-esque, but it's getting
also
into
not
that.
Mercedes
When you start
price.
mentioning Mazda with BMW, Lexus,
And they've always had good
and I think it's one of the
performance.
nicer looking SUVs on the market.
I concur. Get by Adson Offer and check it out today. Peter McNally says the guy's a doctoral student.
Yeah, crazy. Jonathan Williams says Alabama's causing some controversy by wanting to execute a person via nitrogen. I hadn't heard that. We'll have to read a little bit
Does
more
he
into
talk
that,
with
'cause
a real high voice? No, that's helium.
Jonathan Williams says thinking gas since it's asphyxiation, death by helium. You could expand your lungs. Chesley Gobar says I'll never get tired of how you guys go from Astros to the Corpus Bridge to shooting stores. Y'all are this ADD guy's dream.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
It's only an hour show.
It's an hour worth of quick hits. And by the way, the other day, and I don't apologize for it because if like we love Peter McNally. Peter every now and then will give us something to run off on down a rabbit trail. There are times that I leave the program almost out of breath. And I'll tell Ash, it was a great show. That was a great hour-long conversation about what's happening in the world. And it brings you up to speed. We're not 60 Minutes. We're not some in-depth news source. But the things that we do tell you about, we get usually straight from the source, whether it's talking to our congressman or talking to our elected officials. We're very fortunate to have that access. Example, I'm going to have lunch today with our district attorney.
Are you?
Constance Philly Johnson, yes, and I'm just going to kind of get an overview of how things are. It's got nothing to do with that alleged event that I was involved in.
Nothing?
Nothing. I would never. No, I haven't been involved in anything in years.
I know.
But I am going to have a nice visit with Constance Philly Johnson, who's
Tonko says,
great.
You need more cardio.
Right.
If this show leaves you out of breath, you need more cardio. Brent Anderson, good morning.
I invite you all to come toil with me at Get It Right.
Yeah, don't do it.
You'd have fun with me.
Get it wrong.
The Wade and Bat Boy Show. Brian B. Small, how do you feel this late in the season? I'll admit it.
Rangers haven't been in this rarefied air since, 2005?
Yeah, I would have thought they would be. And then back then was
Somewhere
a
in there?
fluke. That was a fluke. And I look back and I'm like, man, and I'm not being silly. Maybe the new digs, maybe that air-conditioned stadium takes a little heat off. Did you see yesterday where the Mariners had the exact same 37-28 record at home and on the road?
Wow.
That's good, consistent baseball, man.
Yep,
You're
absolutely.
9 games above 500 on the. That's pretty good baseball,
Especially on the road.
Yes, sir.
Well, our boy Kyle Tucker, he's hitting like 30 points higher on the road with more RBIs and more home runs than he is at home.
Bigger trash cans.
And you would think.
Did you see where Verlander the other day? Y'all know how.
No, Brian Small, thankfully he is not in baseball pants because
I
that
look
would
like
just
Tommy
be,
Lasorda. You know
that
when,
would be a sight that nobody would want to see.
every now and then Verlander will give up that early inning dinger.
Yeah.
Twice the other day, there were well hit balls into center field, and both times the announcer goes, Verlander, who knows this park all too well, walks to the dugout because he knows that ball ain't getting out of here. Yeah. It's 4-12 to dead away center in Detroit.
Yeah.
What a waste of beautiful weather. It was 71 degrees at game time. The sun was shining. I don't remember.
It's not a waste for Astros fans.
When was the last time it was 71? And by the way, there were more Astros fans at Boston late in the game for sure than there were Boston denizens. The Astros
Absolutely.
really put people into Fenway.
Tropical Storm Idalia is starting to intensify. They're expecting it to be. Here's how things change so rapidly. When it first was forming, this will probably be a Category 1 as it makes its way across the Gulf and will make landfall. Now they're saying a Category 3.
You can't get FEMA money off of Category 1.
No, but I've lived here for almost 27 years here. And I was having this discussion yesterday with Jackie Parsons at Deerland Feed. And neither of us could remember a time when people were openly and actively wishing for a tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane because we need the rain so badly. 27 years, and I don't remember anybody, but I have heard multiple people hoping that one of these storms will come through us. And my concern with that is even a Category 1, with how dry it is and how brittle our trees are and the roots not being, I think you'd have a lot of devastation just because it's so dry.
No doubt. So the side topic now, Junior Samples, is baseball pants on those chicken legs. Brian Small, what cleats are you wearing today? First of all, today.
Adam Sugar says he's wearing his polyester coaching shorts that he stole from VHS.
See, and I'm going to go right down the line with you guys.
Those were bike shorts, were they not?
Bike was the brand, or Champion.
Oh, yeah,
I played
Champion.
8th grade basketball for a gentleman named Ralph Letzinger, who's a great guy. But Coach Letzinger would get out, and he didn't have a plumber's crack. He had like a plumber's union chasm. And like if Coach bent over and those gray shorts pulled down a little bit, it was like, whoa, Moon River. But today, Brian, I'm wearing the New Balance turf shoe. Much more comfortable. And
you can stand all day in those things in the third base coaching box.
Here's Coach Pettis. Stop. But you give him this. All right, keep going.
How about Giancarlo Stanton? We saw that video this morning of him.
So
Astros. He got thrown out by Dubon in a single to center, trying to score from second. He never broke a sweat. He was barely above. Race walkers in the Olympics probably could have rounded second faster than he did without breaking their walking. And even the third base coach was just doing this. He knew.
So last night, the late in the game, late in the game, the Red Sox had a rookie player come up, his first major league at bat, and he just strokes a single. And because of the circumstances, because the Astros were so far ahead, everybody was happy for the kid. He got his first hit. So he's on first. The next guy hits a fly ball, a pop-up that Jose Abreu runs down in fair territory, but just kind of catches it over the shoulder. He could have turned around and caught it, but he catches it, and without a look, Ash, turns and throws the ball to first. Urquidy had snuck over. The kid had walked off and was watching the play, and he got doubled off at first. He was on base about 35 seconds.
He got on base.
Yeah.
And what do we remember for it? Adam Sugar said it was funny saying the 60s with this. He was trying to age you, but then he goes, I had Coach Letzinger too.
Right, there you go, Adam. He had that same chasm, didn't he?
Yeah, how long
Yeah,
Coach
he had that
Letzinger was
chasm.
around.
He knows it wasn't a butt crack. That
Is
was
that
a
Bard's
chasm.
dad?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Bard's dad.
All right.
Yeah.
Lisa Poole says she had Coach Letzinger in the 7th grade at Howell too.
Yeah.
I am not cup checking and be small.
That's nice. Cup
We do
check.
that, but we do that before the show.
Yeah. Casual. Gently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a gentle, it's more of a back rub of the deal there. Folks, Gray Barn Design, Gray Barn Mercantile, 920-6803. Get there around 10 o'clock this morning. Cheryl will be there helping you get the accoutrement.
And delivery of some new items coming in. She's going to start carrying select clothing. Lady went in yesterday, bought some baby gear. She's got baby wear and baby items too for infants and babies.
Very nice.
But right now, folks, she's got a nice. We talked about it yesterday.
She's got a nice set.
And there's a nice pair of leather chairs
Perky.
that are just perfect for
Perfectly perky.
on the back patios, in your sunroom, reading, and they're on sale and they're awesome.
There you are.
And you'll find them for twice as much at other places.
They're leather chairs, people. Quick, get your
not
minds out of the
leather,
gutter.
leather.
There you go. AJ's Detailing at AJ Villanueva. Bring your vehicle back to its original glory plus some. You buy a new car, you take it over there, you can take it straight from the dealership. He'll put a buff on it and get rid of all that orange peel that comes on the paint, ceramic coat it. I'm telling you, when you pick it up, you'll go, whoa, I didn't know it could look like that.
And your paint will be protected from rock chips and everything else. So
and then Wint Services. Wint for all your generator needs. Let Wint help you with turnkey generator needs. Under $6,000, 24 kW, whole house generator from Generac, in this case, for under $6,000, and they'll negotiate the installation with you, and you will be thrilled.
Oh, Junior Sample says with big fluffy throw pillows.
Yep, puffy. They're puffy. There you have it.
Kelly Farami says she's been shocked to see men at the gym in leggings. The whole package, she says.
In other news, she never misses a day. Why, I went yesterday, and that same guy showed up. Abe Froman, the sausage king of the South.
I was there for 3 times yesterday just to see if guys are still showing up in leggings.
See, it is Abe Froman, but it's Sloan Peterson.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. You're mixing your Ferris Bueller metaphors the other day.
Well, is that not just a great movie?
Awesome movie.
It's a great movie. And like every time I watch it, I'm like, dude, don't wreck the Ferrari. And I always wondered, did they really mess up a Ferrari for that movie?
I'm guessing they probably took one of those kit cars,
Yeah.
threw it on a old Z240 or Datsun 240Z
Yeah.
frame chassis.
By the way, that would be
And
a
then
fun car to own today.
What, the 240Z?
Yeah, or 260 with
If
the inline six.
If you find one that isn't rusted out.
That
was the problem
It was
with
a
all those
unibody
Datsuns.
vehicle, right? So it was all there was no. The frame was attached to the car. Wasn't you can't take the body off.
And
of it.
very much E-Type esque in its lineage and styling.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And the thing is, very Jaguar. I've seen restorations where they have the little flutes on top, the 6
Yep.
or 3
On
2
each
barrels
side.
on it. Oh
Yeah,
man,
nice. I agree.
it's not ever going to be super fast, but it can be super responsive and a ton of
But
fun
they
to
handle
drive.
well. They're
Yeah,
a lot of fun to drive. Yeah.
great looking car.
2-seater. They ruined it when they went to the 2+2. Remember that?
Yeah, that was
like
it was
late
silly
70s.
It's and to me
280 2+2.
It's
right?
almost like the Porsche Panamera. Like the back end's not really there, and it's like just added a back seat
Yeah,
to
it's
a
not
911.
Yeah, it's not a car I like. I've just never been enamored. Don't get me wrong, nice car inside, but
Yeah.
I just the look of the Panamera is just not something that's ever done it.
Now the 911,
911,
there's-
the Cayman.
there's like 47 variations of the 911. You don't know if you're getting one that's really fast or kind of fast or
Just fast.
just fast.
Not faster or fastest, just fast.
The automotive moment brought to you
Yeah.
by Atzenhofer.
The sleeper were those
Atzenhofer.com.
late 60s 912s
Yes.
because they were basically a 911. They were the poor man's 911, and boy, they had engines. You could get some engines in those things. And for some reason, they were a little bit better, lighter and stuff. I don't know exactly why, but they outperformed the 911 if you tweaked them right. So couple of things that's going on nationally that I think we got to watch for here, because we talked a little bit about it last week. And you've got leftist professors trying to tell you that the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment can be used by secretaries of state to remove Trump from the ballot if they just feel like it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the Constitution.
Insurrection clause, but he hasn't been charged with insurrection. And now they're trying to start yesterday, March 4th, was tentatively scheduled for Donald Trump's federal trial in Washington, D.C. That's the day before there's 15 presidential primaries. I believe he's set to be arraigned in Fulton County on September 6th, as Georgia charges him with state RICO laws. Former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows testifying yesterday in his bid to move his trial from the state court to a federal court. And then I think they're trying to get another trial set for sometime in December, if I'm not mistaken, of the 3 trials that he's got. They're trying to keep Donald Trump off the ballot.
On the ropes constantly during every important time period.
And don't get me wrong, they will probably pressure some secretaries of state to not include him on that state's ballot. I'm not sure how they can do it, but I'm sure there's a state or two that would willfully go along, like California. We are living in very scary times where the Democrat Party they're not as brazen as Vlad Putin and just blowing up a plane with Prigozhin in it.
Right.
They're not to that level, but they're getting close. And at the same time, all the rhetoric to distract you from what they're doing to Donald Trump is starting to happen. We're going to pay for vaccines. These ones will work, says Joe Biden, telling us that the other ones didn't work, admitting they didn't work.
That's what's very frustrating, Ash, is that Biden now is saying he's going to have a new vaccine, one that works. He did say that. This one's going to work, and we're going to recommend it to all Americans. Now, what troubles me about that is it's all based on how they feel. It's all based on how they want you to feel, which is scared. Big Pharma is going to rake in huge billions of dollars. By the way, you're going to pay for this.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to be covered on your health plan, which they're going to blame on the Republicans because you don't have adequate health care.
Why are we not at the point where Big Pharma is making these vaccines of their own free will and volition because they made enough money off us to last, 4 vaccines? Why aren't they?
I don't get it, and here's the deal.
They're starting to talk mask mandates again.
Stupid.
The rhetoric coming from the federal government is back where we were in 2020. What's happening? We're heading into an election, folks.
We all agreed that the masks don't work. Once the COVID scare was over, once the pandemic subsided.
In fact, I think there's a National Institutes of Health study that showed that the mask may even be causing or be cancerous. See if I can find it here real quick.
But it does trouble me because I think they're going to say, like Donnie and I have a trip coming up, they're going to say you can't travel internationally without this booster.
New study shared by the National Institutes of Health suggests that N95 COVID masks create dangerous situations and dangerous levels of toxic compounds linked to seizures and cancer. Our own NIH is putting this out there.
But some people like to wear the mask to make folks believe that they're just woke and they're on top of things and everything's going their way.
Yeah. So
The Democrat background.
I don't know.
music.
Watch though, folks. Watch. Wait and hide. Hide and wait. I don't know. What am I looking for here? Because do not be surprised if mask mandates, vaccine mandates, staying at home, big box stores will be the only ones allowed to be open again. It's coming. Because
elections
are just around the corner.
So
and
you know what that means?
And if we go back and follow the same playbook, we're a bunch of idiots.
And what that means, though, Ash, is that we've got to have mail-in ballots. We've got to have drive-through voting. We've got to have these things so the people can be heard. This nasty pandemic is back, and we've got to. It's the only chance the Democrats have. It's the only chance they have. Ballot harvesting.
Story by the Epic Times shows that more than 10,000 voter registration forms were dropped off by a single woman with a city clerk in Muskegon, Michigan.
She was really
2 weeks before the election.
She was great. She went out and got 10,000 people to vote.
Yep.
The number of forms was a red flag for the city. Less than 4,000 of the city's voting age residents weren't registered to vote. So where did those, all 4,000 of them, she got registered, and 6,000 more.
Yeah.
Sure, they all voted for Trump.
There's a police report on it, but fact-checking services disputed this online.
While the total number of voter registration forms submitted by that person may add up to as much as 12,500, very few of them were deemed to be fraudulent. Very few.
That's what the fact checker said.
That's
yeah.
an arbitrary term. And very few, like what, less than 40%?
Well, they had a sampling of 42 applications to make their determination that there was very few fraud. How do you have 4,000 unregistered voters that they know of in the city, but you turn in 10,000 voter registrations?
And they pulled 42 applications and said very few were fraudulent. Yeah. Now think about that, people. The other 12,458, we don't know how many of those were accurate. Those votes matter.
If there are only 42 suspected fraudulent voter registrations, this is the question: why weren't the rest registered? Population of Muskegon back then was 38,000 and change. Almost 30,000 of them are voting age. That seems real high, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an older town.
Must be.
The clerk suddenly cannot speak. I cannot speak to the facts of the case at this time. I'm sorry that I cannot be of more help.
Pleading the fifth is that clerk by the sounds of things.
If you folks... Okay, I'm not going to say that it doesn't cut both ways. I'm not trying to claim that Republicans are incapable of trying to register people illegally or whatever.
You and I did it legally with the help of B.J. Nelson. We had a little, and Callie Fromm, you remember that?
Yes, we had a registration drive. But if you don't believe that voter fraud in our country is a big problem, I think you're naive. It is a big problem.
Whether or not it amounts to enough to sway federal elections, I don't know, but
Junior Simple says, if you can smell the sushi bar at HEB with a mask on, it ain't working.
True story.
That's a solid
Maybe
point.
so.
I could go so many ways with that. It'd be like Versailles.
Yeah.
I could go down the diagonal streets. I could go straight down the middle. I'm just going to let it go because it's a family show on a Tuesday morning.
Thank you for that. Sheriff Louderback checking in.
But if you walk into a crowded room and you think you're at the sushi bar at HEB, the mask ain't working. Folks, the chopping block, how about this? You want custom
this weekend
designer
is Labor Day weekend.
burgers?
This is our swan song for the summer, even though the 100-degree temps are going to be here till Thanksgiving.
What was the number? $7? These are like world-class fatty patties. You need to get by.
You sent it. Yeah.
You need to get.
That's coaching pants?
Yeah, that's Dawn in her coaching pants.
You sent this to me, and I don't know where
I did. Hear it right here because I've got it because this is content. In honor of Labor Day, we decided to have a good old burger sale from now till Saturday. All Rosewood Ranch's Wagyu steak burgers are $7, and all specialty burgers are $7.50.
These are ready to go. All you got to do is take them home and
Put
throw them on the
grill.
Yep.
And they're thick. Like ultimate cheeseburger, jalapeno popper burger,
That sounds so
bacon
good.
ranch burger with a pepper crust. Look at the crust on the edge of that. Look at that. We also have Wagyu hot dogs. Seems a little redundant.
Well, there's parts of the cow left over.
Well, I mean, no, but
That doesn't go into ground beef.
This is the fat and entrails of a really expensive calf.
Didn't know Wagyu lips were so special.
I didn't know that. Nothing but the finest oats have crossed these lips. They'll also vacuum seal that for you. At $7 a throw, it's just hard to beat. It's a
You're not buying
hamburger.
a burger anywhere else anywhere near as good for $7.
No, you know what I would do? Turn my griddle down on low and do them on the flat griddle.
Yeah, you can do
Just
that
a
too.
dairy treat on steroids.
Nice.
Chopping block for all your meat needs.
Get over there today.
And tons of seasonings. I say tons. I mean, there's tons of
got
seasonings
lots.
in there. White Trash Services, we saw BJ Nelson this morning, 550-1826. Whether you need weekly trash pickup in the Victoria and 6 contiguous Counties and others, Kearney, Casada, Kansas City, Karnes City, or
Lavaca.
Kennedy.
Is that where you're going? Oh, yeah.
I'm trying.
Trying.
Go with me.
Trying.
Help. Just take care of Dawn.
Dumpsters, roll-offs, demolition services, white trash site services can help you get it all done.
There you go.
550-1826. Give them a call.
Fantastic, folks. USA Concrete Coating let Charlie Garcia and his team come out and transform that drab
They
slab.
will transform it.
Put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't.
Crack, peel, sticker, fade.
There you go. He's almost got it, folks. It's only been 6 years.
Hey,
He's not.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
He's not dyslexic.
Have we,
You know what's bad
them
is,
all, haven't we?
here's what's bad.
What's bad?
One day, like, we'll be leaving, and, like, you'll get in the elevator and go, I do have a condition, you know. I'm like, what? Well, you're always on me about forgetting words, but I do have a condition. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to do something to me just to
Just a jack
Just
with
to
you?
tumble
Just
me.
to make you feel guilt, shame?
Yeah, and Dottie bitterly says those N95 masks are still worn by healthcare. And you know, when doctors really started wearing,
But you know what? They're not worn all the time, right? Where you're in a procedure, you take them off.
They
I think
really
that's the
started
problem with
wearing
the study.
during the HIV crisis, when people were afraid of the transition of bodily fluids, when people were afraid, most of it in ignorance of.
Adam Sugar asks, well, it better stick. It won't stick to your tires, Adam. It sticks to the floor.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
won't come up like some of the cheaper ones. That's what we refer to.
Yeah,
It won't stick to your tires or your shoes.
Epoxy finishes, the gray, the Battleship gray. When you're going there and your tires are hot, which they always are nowadays, you pull in there and it will.
It'll melt
it'll
to your
stick
tires.
to your tires.
That's
yeah.
what we're referring to.
Yeah, work with us, Adam. He was worried. He said,
Yeah, don't be worried.
"You can put down that floor in there, and Adam, no kidding, you get oil on it, you just wipe it up.
Yeah.
No more stains."
You've been following any of this at all? After
Sure.
Spain won the Women's World Cup and the head of the Spanish Soccer
kissed that
Federation
gal.
kissed the girl on the lips.
You know what? Originally, now I did follow it because the Europeans are, they do the air kiss on both cheeks and all that. They win the game. The coach is only 46 years old. One of the girls
The star,
comes up and he grabs her like, yeah,
Jennifer Hermoso.
and kisses her on the lips. It wasn't passionate. He just kissed her. I thought it was very European. Later on, she says, it was just a consensual deal. We have a relationship. We're friends. It was no big deal. It was just a kiss.
At
But
first
now
it
she's not saying
was.
that.
Then she said that. Now she's changed her tune. It makes
Now
you wonder
she's
who's
decided
coming.
she's violated.
I wouldn't do that. Would you do that?
I wouldn't.
You're not
no.
European, though.
No, but I'm just saying, and he did say, he said, look, I'm sorry some of you were offended. It's that fake outrage. You're offended on their behalf. It's like he's somehow taking advantage of his role as her coach to take. This is not a United States gymnastics debacle here. There was no sexual intent here. And to be honest, in Spain, I wouldn't be surprised to see a man kiss a man. They're that passionate of people, you know.
I watched the video, and again, not acceptable over here. Different culture,
And shame on us.
but based on some of the reports, I was expecting this thing like he was trying to force his tongue in her mouth type of kiss, the way it was portrayed by the media. Grabbed her head, smooched her on the lips,
He was like,
and
yeah,
that was it.
we won. Mwah. Big deal. Heat of the moment. He was fired up. They won a World Cup type thing.
Shouldn't have touched her.
No.
She should have slapped him.
And she didn't look at it, and her expression was not anything other than elation. There's video, people.
They've called for his resignation. He said he's not resigning over something.
He's just going to wear a mask from now on with big rubber lips on it. I don't get it.
The guy's had a lot of questionable acts in his past. Nothing, but some of his moves have been questioned.
But now look
they
what's
just
happened.
won. They just won it all.
Over the weekend, the entire championship women's team said they would not play for him anymore, while FIFA, soccer's world governing body, suspended him for 90 days. He's done. Yeah. And what gets me is I kept saying, what did the woman say? What did the woman say? And she said it was a consensual deal. It was a heat of the moment. We were both excited. He did not offend me at all. Now, her friends have gotten a hold of her and said, well, you ought to be offended. I can't believe you're not offended. We're offended because you're not offended. So now she's offended and he's out. I don't get it.
Shouldn't have kissed her.
He shouldn't have kissed her. I guess. For all you know, he's been sleeping with her for 3 years. Be honest. For all you know.
I don't know that.
That's what'll be in the movie.
Of course.
If I were him, I'd write a book called Les Kiss.
You think he will?
This is an interesting stat. You've heard about cumulative traumatic encephalopathy?
Encephalopathy?
Yeah, it's
chronic
what
traumatic
it is, CTE.
encephalopathy.
It's
Yeah,
that
brain injuries.
It's the movie where the guys have the lesions on their brains, like Junior Seau from it. Junior Samples has that lesion.
He's got lesions all over his body. He called me
in a really small region.
Did he tell you what happened to him? And I still don't know the full story here. They're on vacation. Him and Linda were staying at a friend's place. He was having a shower, and the shower door blew up while he was in the shower.
Junior did?
Yeah.
How did the shower door blow
I don't know.
up?
He didn't really explain that to me.
He had the soap, and then his hand hit it. I don't understand.
But he said Linda spent the night picking glass out of his back.
Junior, I mean.
Only Junior.
You can wash it as fast and as long as you want, but you need to have some control, son. More than 40% of athletes, primarily football players, who died before the age of 30 had CTE, according to a new study. 40% tells you that cumulative or chronic, it's from banging your head against things over and over again. It's like being a Democrat.
Yeah, it's your brain bashing into the skull, right?
Right.
Over and over.
Yeah, your brain kind of floats in a little jelly fluid.
Study conducted by Boston University's CTE Center, which is really the leading center on this and the study of it. A lot of brains have been donated to their
because
study
these
into
people have
science.
symptoms. They have symptoms, and right here it says the fact that over 40% of young contact and collision sport athletes in the Unite Brain Bank have CTE is remarkable, considering that studies of community brain banks show that fewer than 1% of the general population has CTE. So you're almost getting to the point where it's indisputable that football causes brain damage. I mean, really, you really are. Am I right?
And other repetitive impact sports, but primarily football.
And suicide was the most common cause of death in the study.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if that means that these people have, honestly, if they hear a ringing constantly in their head, if they're upset, they have depression, apathy. We're reported nearly 70% of the athletes, despite almost 59% of them not having CTE. They're saying that, and I think I can see that athletes are high-strung, high-demand people. They end up out of sports, 30 years old. You're out of sports, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're depressed.
Age of death of those in the study were 13 to 29.
Yeah.
And almost all the brain studies showed earliest stages of CTE. That's scary when a 13-year-old is showing early stages of CTE. Don't know the details.
Most played football. Some played hockey and soccer. What it tells me is, and I believe we're getting closer and closer to this. Football as we know it, the NFL may survive another 20 years, but in general, football as we know it is going to go away. It's too violent. It's too expensive. It's too predictable. It's too trackable that people are dying as a result of. And I don't know what you're going to do. I think maybe somebody will straighten out basketball and make it watchable again. I don't know. But I think you're going to see
the NBA. I still watch college hoops.
There's lots and lots of schools that have a hard time fielding a freshman football team these days. Kids play soccer. Kids play select baseball year-round.
Scott Tomko says flag football on the horizon. You know, I did like some of the things that the XFL was trying to do with kickoffs and stuff. I still think the Canadian Football League, at least on punts, instead of the fair catch and being able to light a guy up if you time it, you've got to give the 5-yard halo for no yards. So if you come running down on a guy, you've got to stop and give him 5 yards to catch the ball and start the return. And it seems to make a difference. There's no huge collisions, but you get a lot of the exciting returns that people like, and reasons why, guys like Deion Sanders and others were exciting to watch back there returning punts.
Deion Sanders played 27 years, never got hit, never hit anybody. Brian Small says that's a pretty strong statement there, Buttermaker. Do you disagree, Ash, that college football as we know it, even college football, is going to make adjustments soon? You're getting down to where you've got like 20-something teams. The idea that 119 D1 programs can field 119 teams of 100 guys, those days are almost over. I'm telling you. And 150 teams on D2 and D3 and NAI programs. Over.
And then I saw a headline yesterday. I'm not sure if it was to be taken serious or not, but Arch Manning reportedly going to make more in NIL deals than Joe Burrow is going to make as a starting quarterback in the NFL this year. Not sure I quite believe that, but the fact that he's making any kind of money.
Yeah, sitting on the bench in a red shirt.
That's the end of college football as we know it. And the thing is, those 40 to 48 teams that are going to be left standing in the SEC and the Big Ten, they're going to get to 5 conferences here for a little while. And now there's talk the Big 12 is trying to reach out, maybe not just
the Big 20,
maybe not just to Cal and Stanford, but also maybe pulling Washington State and Oregon State, right?
Sure.
There's some political pressure being put
on
the Big
Cougs.
12. You watch. That'd be interesting. Cougs versus the Cougs.
That'd be cool.
Wazoo and Houston. Do you know why Houston is named the Cougs?
It's got something to do with Washington State.
Yeah, their first football coach coached at Washington State where they were the Cougars, and when he went there, they didn't have a nickname.
Talk about a game nobody would watch.
So he called them.
Tonight on the Ocho, ESPN 8, it's Cougar versus Cougar.
I went to their game at Energy Stadium a few years ago.
Halftime entertainment brought to you by the Kardashians. It's a Cougar-filled evening.
White Trash Services they already have with the targeting rules.
Yeah, true story.
But it does. Has it really stopped targeting?
BJ and Scott have a son playing college football. It's a violent sport, collision sport.
But the studies come out 40% of football players with CTE. That seems high.
I don't necessarily agree. I don't agree at all. I love college football, and I think there's a place in the world for a great college football program and NFL program. But I have heard people who mean well say, if you're a parent and you're steering your kid to playing traditional football, you're not a good parent. Your kid ought to be playing soccer, baseball, something else besides football.
Adam Sugar says small upside. At least we don't lose great players to the draft early anymore.
There you go. Adam Sugar, no doubt CTE. No doubt. Don't you think big open lesions in that man's brain?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
His wife hasn't had him
enough yet. Been married that long.
No, not long enough yet.
That's right. Powder Puff football will be next. That's right. But then little Billy can just put on a skirt and go play Powder Puff. Call him Wilhelmina.
But I don't think something like flag football or 7-on-7 is going to replace football. It's just not, because it's not.
Money. It blows my mind, and this is just as an aside for another day. It does blow my mind the lack of awareness that people don't understand that the reason the NFL is on TV, the reason the NFL exists is gambling. And the only reason it's on TV is because people want to watch how their bets are doing. That's the truth. And so that they can market
I think there's a strong population that does that. I don't think it's the only reason it exists.
But if you can't market it, it ain't going to be on TV. And the idea that, like, the U.S. women's national soccer team believes that they ought to get, quote-unquote, equal pay with whatever. I wouldn't pay the U.S. men's team to watch them either. So at the end of the day, if nobody wants to watch it, then nobody's advertising on that TV channel, which means there's no revenue, which means we can't just pay you equal money. You want equal money? Yeah. Go drive a race car.
Scott Tomko says, like NASCAR, people watch for the wrecks. Football fans want to see the hits.
There's no doubt about it.
When the whole crowd gasps or awes when there's a big hit. Fans of both sides. They don't do that when you throw a deep pass. Only one side's cheering, the other one's mad, right?
B. Small says when it comes to betting, he's got it, guy. Junior Samples at soccer has more head-to-head head and neck trauma than football. Rush Limbaugh reported that years ago from an orthopedic study.
Yeah, they're just starting to do studies on the heading of the ball.
Rush Limbaugh is in your – that's it. That's the way it is.
Scott Tomko says hockey's the same. The numbers don't bear out, although it is pretty prevalent in hockey as well.
What sport is that with the stick and the –
lacrosse?
No, and the puck?
That'd be hockey.
Hockey. Just –
It's hockey.
Just checking.
But I think I wonder if they're having these discussions in Australia in regards to rugby and Aussie rules football. And I'll tell you the difference of somebody who played rugby and high school football at a time when we learned how to tackle in high school.
See, if you learned in junior high, you'd have played in college.
I might have played in college. We didn't learn how to tackle in junior high.
Your coach told you, "Well, you chow. I thought you said you had average speed."
That's all I had, if that, on a good day with the wind behind me.
That's not right.
Still,
Adam Sugar, this is going to be a deep thought. Adam Sugar says, football teaches boys to be warriors. You can't build fighting men in soccer, baseball, or basketball. Football, hockey, and wrestling are necessary more than ever with people trying to sissify boys. Sissify is a tough word, especially when you don't spell it right. Sissif, I thought it was like
doesn't leave your lips.
Sisyphilus.
Doesn't leave Adam's lips. But
you're right, Adam.
But rugby teaches you how to tackle properly. And Jennifer Rayburn says a lot of these injuries are peewee level and bantam level football because they don't teach tackling.
Right.
You used to have to tackle. Now you just try to blow through a guy, and that's why the targeting rules. You lead with your helmet, right? Or you were taught to lead with your helmet.
Get your head up.
That was never how I was taught, and you were probably taught either.
No, we were form tackle. Get your helmet out in front. Then all you sacrifice is your neck. Can you imagine being that kid?
Compressed vertebrae.
Imagine being that kid.
I was 6'4" when I was playing college football. Now I'm 5'10".
You're a sophomore. You get brought up, and you get to play against Earl Campbell, 1971, and Tyler. And the coach says, just get your head out in front, wrap him up, and that thigh hits you. It's a bong, hits you upside the dome.
The only way you were trying to tackle Earl Campbell was as he ran past you, you hoped you could swipe his feet and trip him up on himself.
Absolutely. Be Small, give me a quick thumbs up, thumbs down. It's the end of the hour. You got Texas, 35-point favorite on Rice, with the over and under being 58.5. Here's my deal. If
both? Can I take the over on both?
You can. If Rice scores at all, I like the over. But I don't see Texas putting 60 on them just because they can.
62-7. That's my prediction.
See, there's your over, and I don't think that's an unfair number. 62-7. So
Here's an unintended consequence of what's happening in college football. Vandy and Hawaii played on Sunday night. I used to get up for those games, even though they meant nothing to me as a fan, but just as a fan of college football.
Sure, you wanted to watch it.
I turned it on for a little bit, and I was like, I really have no interest in this. And I don't know if that's a byproduct.
Who won that game?
I don't even know. Vandy was up by 2 touchdowns when I turned it off.
SEC. It just means more.
But if what's happened with the conference realignment and everything is doing that to me as someone who's more than a casual fan,
amen.
What's it going to do to the casual fan?
I also like the idea of the other night, USC beat San Diego State 56-28. USC being predicted as a team that could be in the college football playoff. Yeah, Caleb Williams. I don't look for him to be as good this year.
And San Diego State rumored to be a team that was to replace them in the Pac-12.
San Diego State, Eastern San Diego State Central. I mean, if you've got a lot of directions, that's why I like just being. Where are you? Texas.
I'm at Central Visalia State.
Baylor. TCU. Come on, people.
Problem in youth football, Adam, maybe this
is coaches.
They play San Jose State. Coaches. We played Bay City Saturday. They got a running back who's 10 to 12-year-olds, weighed 260.
Kid's obese.
Yeah.
That kid's going to get COVID. I got boys that don't weigh 100, and I was pissed all the way to Bay City. Coaches causing hurting someone with, and that kid's going to be a tackle.
That kid probably should play up at 260, but again,
his brain, he
doesn't have a 14-year-old brain probably, right?
You've got to move up. You've got to play on the line if you weigh over a certain amount of weight.
Don't put the fridge back.
But they're like little weebles. Boom, boom, boom. They bounce off each other. You know?
Yeah, but then their head hits the ground.
Ryland played a whole season, never got dirt on his uniform.
Good for him.
He was scared to death. His mom was going to spank him if she had to use any shout.
He avoided the head injuries.
He just did not know. No, he didn't have a head injury. He looked like a bobblehead out there.
He won't have CTE, but his brother will.
Amen. Folks, we love you. It's a Tuesday. Tonight, Friends Meet Friends. Palace Bingo. Brother Gary Moses is here. He'll be there. He'll make a flyby. He'll walk up and go, "You can eat that nugget?" Not now, you're not.
You're going to eat that popcorn?
How you like those onion rings? Oh, they're good. Folks, we love you. See you tonight.
Bye, folks.
Well, I've been kicked out of my near every bar around.